Good evening, VOD watchers. Let's hope the low signal will not deter the book reading. We can only hope. But for now, I need to adjust my lower half. Not like that. There we go. That's better. Welcome. Welcome. When last we left off, the main character, Black Rose, and I cannot remember her actual real life name, but the book starts from her perspective. She's initially not a fan of the online MMO known as The World. Her younger brother Kazuya was playing it whenever he went into a coma, and stricken with grief at his accident, she starts playing the game to figure out what happened, and she meets a guy who's a twin blade by the name of Kite, who has a mysterious bracelet that allows him to hack into restricted areas and destroy corrupted monsters. And these corrupted monsters normally have infinite health and you cannot kill them. But Kite is able to somehow return them to normal by doing what's called data draining them with that bracelet. He's also not sure where he got that bracelet either. So I'm eating rice pudding. I fucking love rice pudding. I didn't know it existed until like a year or two ago. Damn it. I keep forgetting that you can't mute the Chrome version of Discord, which is really dumb. Sorry, I got distracted. They're currently going into restricted areas to see if they can find anything. They recently came across a entirely white room at the bottom of a dungeon that was full of teddy bears that contained part of an epic poem. And if I go back in the book a little bit, and I'll do that in a minute, I will recite that bit of the poem. Let's see. Okay. Oh, hold on, let me close that. There we go. Closed in Chrome, making it a little easier so I don't hear the Discord notification over all the time. I'm having Earl Grey with some rice pudding at the moment. So good. If I could figure out how to make this, I may actually put in the effort to make it. It's so good. And if it's as easy as it seems, because just offhand, it seems like you only need like rice, milk, maybe flour, maybe eggs. This point I'm making a cake, so I don't know if that's I don't know if that's right. Still. So good. Okay. I ate at like 5 p.m. and I was worried that I would get hungry in the middle of stream, so I went ahead and... Rice pudding usually holds me over for quite a while because it's rice. Good old Earl Grey. Love it. Sorry, that's the mic stand that I'm hitting. Okay. We're not going to put up the slideshow just yet. I want to see if I can find that. Okay. Okay, so the bit of poem poem. The bit of the poem says, "Shunning the field broken by wave, the shadowed girl whispers, surely I will return. Alas, the truth unbeknownst, awaiting her at journey's end, eternal mourning for her land." That's what the bit of the poem said. And now, we're going to get into it proper. Close that. Oh, come on now. You had plenty of it loaded. What happened to it? Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. And I have the .hack Wikia open just in case I forget. Just in case I have forgotten to grab a picture. All the pictures are right here. Let me check and see where the chapter starts. Okay. We are we are back in the real world with Black Rose's real life self. Seriously? There we go. There we are. And yet again, the signal is being ass. Oh, I wish I knew what the fuck to do. But here we are. Anyway, at least y'all can hear me. And this is just a slideshow, so it'll work. Anyway, these chapters aren't numbered for some reason, but the current chapter is called Everything Goes Wrong. What am I supposed to do? I sighed as I looked at the calendar propped against the side of my PC. Midterms would begin the next day. I had 8 tests over the next 3 days. The only good news was that the tennis practice was suspended during midterms, so I wouldn't have to deal with the catty girls on top of all the cramming. Side note, I forgot to mention, in real life, Black Rose is being bullied by upper and lower classmen because she got picked for first string, aka the top of her tennis team, even though she's a freshman, so now everyone's like butthurt about it. Well, a lot of people are butthurt about it anyway. And she's too scared to go to anybody about it because she doesn't want to be a rat or whatever. Thankfully, she will learn soon enough to stop being a little to have courage and go to somebody about it. My textbooks and notes were spread out on my desk, but I couldn't focus on studying. I put on some tea, hoping to change my mood. As I waited, I wondered what Kite was up to. Maybe there was some new clue posted in the BBS? I think that's the BBS is like a big old collective chat board that people can post to about stuff. Should I check while I'm waiting for the water to boil? I mean, it's not gonna take that long for the water to boil. I keep looking at my fucking dropped frames and whatnot, and it's so discouraging. Anyway, no, I have to concentrate. Who am I kidding? I already knew I was doomed, so I went online anyway. As could be expected, the first day's exams went terribly. Akira, don't look so depressed. Miho peered into my face as I stared at the ceiling. The bell's already rung. Come on, let's go home. Shoko joined us in hall. What's wrong, Akira? That's right, her name's Akira. What's wrong, Akira? You think you failed? I tried smiling, but they saw through it. Don't feel so bad. I'm sure you'll do better tomorrow. Yeah, you're good at tomorrow's subjects, aren't you? It's all math and science, the stuff I hate. I usually did better with formulas and equations than I did with liberal arts. At least in math, you could apply logic and come up with the right answer. Too bad life isn't like that. Right, fellow youths. All right. Shoko patted me on the shoulder as we left school. Don't let it get to you. I'm gonna turn that music down just a hair. Really? Oh, it's from Einhander. Cool. There we go. Alright. Jesus. Where are you? Oh, I nodded. In truth, I'd never felt more lonely. How long had it been since I'd last walked home with a friend? For some reason, Risa no longer spoke to me. She ignored me both at practice and in class. Akira, is something wrong? Miho looked worried. I shook my head. Something definitely was wrong, but I still wasn't going to say anything. You shouldn't worry too much. Oh, sorry. I have to run. She pointed to the bus at her stop. See you tomorrow. Miho waved as she boarded the bus. That left me and Shoko. I have to get going too, as I said as I hopped onto my bike. Hey, we've got time, so why not talk? Shoko asked. Usually Shoko took the bus as well, so I figured she wanted to hang out, and besides, I could use a friend. Even though Shoko and I lived near each other, we seldom saw one another outside school. I knew she lived with her mom, and that they were having trouble making ends meet. Shoko even had to work a part-time job to help out with the family finances. She'd once surprised me at a restaurant when she'd showed up at my table as the waitress. It's been forever since I walked home with you, Akira. I nodded. We've both been so busy since school started. We walked in silence, and then Shoko asked the dreaded question. So, did something happen between you and Risa? Did you two have a fight or something? I stopped in my tracks. I didn't know how to answer it. Shoko glanced at me. What is it? She looked worried. No, nothing's happened, I said, my voice cracking. I forced myself to smile and continued walking. You're not hiding anything from me? She asked. No, I'm just worried about Fumikazu. Everything's fine with Risa and me. It's just your imagination, this lying ass. I hated myself for lying, but I didn't want to worry her. Yeah, there it is. That classic Japanese mentality of not wanting to be a bother to everyone else around you. Okay, if anything does happen, you'll tell me, right? Sure thing. Oof. Mood. Vibes. Okay, sorry. Forgot to put my Gengar in my lap. There we go. Yeah, it's better. Okay. She sighed. You always store these things up inside, Akira. Someday you'll get an ulcer. Is that what that is? I probably already have one. Like I said, there's nothing wrong. Yeah, but that was the first time you've mentioned Fumikazu to me in a long time. You're keeping things too bottled up. She was right. Shoko and I had a big argument one time in middle school. I don't even remember what we were fighting about. But at one point she yelled something that stuck with me. She said, if you think we're friends, tell me anything and everything. If you don't tell me, I can't help you. I wanted to tell her, but there was nothing she could do to help. She couldn't stop the bullying, yes she could, and she couldn't help Fumikazu. I'd been toughing it out thus far on my own. I didn't see any reason to stop now. Besides, if I opened up to her, I would crumble. Even thinking of the words that sent Fumikazu to the hospital brought tears to my eyes. When I didn't say anything else, Shoko decided to change the subject. Sometimes you gotta press. Girl, sometimes you gotta press. There's some lovely art of Akira and Shoko walking home. Not that important. I know you don't like games, but I have to tell you, it's been weird lately. She probably meant to switch to a harmless topic, but for me it was like stepping on a landmine. You mean the world? I asked hesitantly. Yeah, it doesn't seem to bother you, Uji, but there are lots of strange rumors going around. Shoko wrinkled her eyebrows, perturbed. I'm thinking maybe I should quit. I think you should, I spoke too quickly. Shoko's eyes narrowed suspiciously. Why do you think that? Well, you say it's bothering you, right? I answered, trying to smooth over my hasty reply. If it's just a game, is it really worth getting worked up over? Well, you're right. She laughed. I shouldn't waste too much time playing games, should I? I nodded. Oh, the dramatic irony is dripping. Dripping over here. Alright. I had to study! My gaze cycled between my textbooks and my computer. Then I sighed and sat down in front of the keyboard. I'll just check the BBS, I told myself. The mail icon blinked. I had a message from Kite. He'd been investigating a lead and asked if I wanted to meet him. I wrote back that of course I did. If I wanted to solve Fumikazu's dilemma, I didn't have a choice. I pushed the textbooks aside. Yet again. Truancy hurts us all, McSquirmy. No, wait, Truancy is not coming into class or skipping class. I forgot. I hadn't been to the Delta server's root town, Mac Anu, for quite a while. Somehow it seemed busier than before. That would be this one. Mac Anu. With a bridge. No, yeah. With these bridges over a canal, somewhat like Italy. Yeah. Somehow it seemed busier than before. I looked around until I saw Kite, then called out, "Sorry, have you been waiting long?" He looked up and smiled. "Not too long," he said. Anyways, let's get going. It'll just be the two of us today." That was fine with me, although I noticed Kite acted differently today. He seemed impatient. He warped to Buried Pagan Fiery Sands and headed directly for the dungeon. As usual. Only this time we proceeded in silence. Oops. Sorry, that was a timer that went off that I forgot I'd put up. In silence. It reminded me of the strained quiet that had fallen over my family dinners. Ugh, I'm no good in this kind of atmosphere. The interior of the dungeon resembled the inner workings of a human body. The walls pulsed like they were breathing. I found it unnerving, but Kite moved steadily forward as if he didn't notice. We entered a room and found a player character waiting for us. "I'm Linda," she said. "Are you Orca's friend?" "Yes," Kite answered. "I heard about the rumor from Bob." "Weird," she said. "You know that the world isn't just some net game, but that there's something else with an agenda at work." "What do you think the agenda is?" Kite asked. "Who knows?" she shrugged. "After all, it's just a rumor. No one knows if it's true or not, but that's what Orca and Balmung were trying to find out. And you know what happened to Orca." "Balmung?" I inadvertently shouted. Balmung was the winged blade master I had met the first day I formed a party with Kite. I thought he was a jerk, but he knew that the monster attacking us was an irregular creature with infinite hit points. And he'd even been the one to call it a data bug. That's it, the corrupted enemies are called data bugs. Has he been investigating the same thing as us this whole time? Do you know him? Linda asked me. "No, but I met him once. Balmung of the Azure Sky, Orca of the Azure Sea, the descendants of Fianna, formed the ultimate party." Linda said, "If this could happen to Orca, it could happen to anybody. Take my advice, forget about the rumor." The descendants of Fianna, where have I heard that before? She's thinking that. "I'm afraid I can't do that," Kite replied. "Orca's my friend." Linda sighed. "I see. In that case, you should go to Lonely Silent Great Seal. Orca said he found an odd room there." "An odd room?" Kite and I raised our voices at the same time. We looked at each other. May the Twilight Dragon's divine protection be with you." Linda gave a mysterious smile and warped out of the dungeon. "Twilight Dragon? Is that some kind of god?" I asked. "First I've heard of it, whatever it is," he replied. Some lovely sketch art of Linda, I think she's a lancer, because it looks like it. She's got the spear going on. "You want to check out the room?" "You know it." Since it's not possible to warp from one field to another, we stopped back in the root town and warped from there. Lonely, Silent Great Seal. It was a snowfield, or it was supposed to be. Again, we found the computer code screaming across the landscape. I don't know which is better, streaming or screaming. Either way. My spine tingled. I knew we would run into something here. Excuse me. Kite stood in front of me. I noticed a shadow appear on his back. I stared for a moment as it took shape. It appeared to be a cross. "Kite," I called as I looked up to see what cast the shadow. Kite looked at me strangely, then followed my line of sight to the sky above. What is that? He brought up his twin blades. High above us was a giant human figure, both arms outstretched as it slowly revolved in the sky. Both legs were bound, and its entire body was wrapped in bandages. 4 ships flew in circles around it as if they were towing the giant. I've seen that in game. It looks fucking wild. You can actually see it from the ground, and that's a bonus dungeon that you can actually enter. It's either a bonus dungeon or it's part of the story. I forget, but you can go there, and it's fucking wild. I love it. I love shit like that. You can just see it, like, especially that was rare, especially in the PS2 days, where you could see something in the distance and then just go to it. That was unheard of back in the day. Need to get a sip of tea. Okay. Then the body and ships began to slowly melt into the sky. The outlines blurred until finally they disappeared. What do you think that was? I asked. I don't know. It's the first time I've seen it, and I'd never heard talk about anything like that. You think it's an enemy? Maybe. Kite shrugged. It was huge. Do you think you could beat something that big? I don't know, Kite answered. I shouldn't have asked such a dumb question. If we failed to defeat an irregular monster, we'd end up in a coma. If it came down to a fight, we had to win. Well, it's gone now. Let's keep moving. Kite pushed on, and we soon discovered the dungeon. The entrance was located in an old stone tower. We lit a torch and entered. In every respect, the tower resembled an ancient medieval castle. But like the landscape, its graphics were often broken. And I could see lines of code peeking out at me. No matter how often I saw this, I couldn't get used to it. I feared that something sinister was hiding nearby. I followed Kite deeper into the dungeon. When we reached the lowest point... That's a typo. It says lowerst. L-O-W-E-R-S-T, lowerst. That's funny. When we reached the lowest point, Kite said, "That's it." He pointed to the room that Linda had warned us about. A purple mist hung before the entrance. Kite glanced at me and then walked forward. Uncertain, I followed. Just like the other room, a pure white space stretched out before us. But unlike before, there was no canopied bed or weird teddy bears. There was nothing but a void of pure white. What kind of room is this? Kite said. There's nothing here. Then I spied something. A small object on the floor. Hey, look, I said, pointing. Kite reached down and picked it up. The event log scrolled by in the window. A character string? Instead of an item, it seemed like Kite had picked up just a string of strange characters. Almost like a piece of code. Can you make any sense of that? I asked. Kite shook his head. We tried switching to different fonts and character encodings, but it remained cryptic. Well, let's keep looking, I suggested. Hold on just a moment. Let's see what the fuck this song is. That bugs me so much. Diver's Dream, Little Cave. Okay. I wanted to encourage him, but I knew how he felt all too well. There were times when you'd rather be left alone than listen to platitudes. We returned to Mac Anu in silence. My exam scores were sporadic. That's what I get for going to the world instead of studying. Now I had to figure out what to do with my test scores. Maybe I just won't tell my parents. I thought out loud. No, that won't work. My dad's a teacher. Even though he worked at a different school, he knew I had exams. At least I hadn't flunked anything, so I went ahead and told them, and their reaction surprised me. We have been asking a lot of you these days, Mom said. You've been looking out for Kota and helping us so much. It's understandable. Just keep trying your best. She put a light hand on my back. Hell yeah, I love when parents do this. Like, instead of being fucking mad at you, they're just like, I understand your struggles. It's all right. Well, I guess it's because you're so much like me. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll squeak by on your finals. I love dads that are like that. It's like, you got this. You'll be all right. This didn't feel right. I almost wish they'd get mad at me. What he'd said to me before about him wanting to be stronger echoed in my head. Don't blame yourself, Dad. This is just me reaping what I sowed. She thought this. When I returned to Fumikazu's bedroom, so we're back in the real world, but excuse me. Hana heard me and rushed over to her cage door. Standing on her hind legs, I changed the straw for her bedding, gave her food, and refilled her drinking water. She looked thinner. You have to keep eating, I told her. I often noticed her staring out the window at night, as if waiting for Fumikazu to come home. I hate when animals know there's something wrong. It's so sad. It's the fucking worst. My grunty in the game was just the opposite. It ate everything it could find. I first saw the thread labeled missing shortly before midterms. It was nothing more than messages exchanged between people searching for a player character named Alf. The cat won't fit in the toaster. Threads. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to whoever gets that fucking reference. Threads from people searching for absent companions weren't all that unusual. Players sometimes quit the game without telling their online friends. But something a friend of Alf wrote caught my eye and made me think that wasn't the case this time. Quote, Alf wanted me to meet him there, but when I tried to enter, it was protected and I couldn't get in. End quote. A place Alf used to visit was now protected, and he had disappeared. My mind raced. What if Alf ran into a data bug and met with the same fate as Fumikazu, she thought. Whenever I say she thought, it's written in like italics, and so it's meant to be like a thought for the readers to read, but none of the characters to know about. I sent an email to Meg, who made the post. Quote, I'd like to know more details about your friend, if you're willing to tell me. Also, I love that the in-game messages are written in, or rather typed in like this 8-bit font sort of style. It's really cute. It's a nice little addition. Nearly a week passed before I had a reply, but Meg reluctantly consented to meet me. I promptly emailed Kite, and we set out for the meeting place on Theta server at Great Distant Fertile Land. Theta server. I'm trying to remember which one the Theta server is. What is the Theta server? Theta. I need to look this up real quick. It's gonna bug me otherwise. Alright, let's see. Theta server. What is the Theta symbol? Dot hack. Not Reta. Theta server. Dunloy. I wound up on the right fucking thing then. Hell yeah. Let me double check and see what the other ones are. By God. Dunloy Rig. Lloyd Regal. Images. Google Images. You know what I meant, Google Images. I don't know why the fuck that stuck in my goddamn head. You know what I meant. Oh, okay, cool. It is right here. Lovely. That's it. That's what it looks like in-game. But the server they went to is called Great Distant Fertile Land. Meg waited for us in the deepest part of the dungeon. We found her talking with a strange-looking character. His avatar resembled a typical merchant NPC that you'd find in a town, but there was never a server like that in a dungeon. So let me see if I can find him, actually, because he does show up. He is a recurring character. Yeah. There he is. Also, these are what the merchants look like in the root towns. They look like this. That green was the one that you see the most, but he uses all four of these different versions of himself. Ah, there she is, Kite said. But who's she with? Oh, I guess she took Kite with her. Okay. The second the merchant saw us, he warped out. Could he have been a player? Doubtful. That was me that said doubtful. We approached Meg. I could see she was frightened. Who was that behind you? She asked. He's a friend of mine. We're not here to try. What? Oh, okay. Meg asked who's that behind Black Rose. He's a friend of mine. We're not here to try anything, so relax. I said, but she didn't. Something was out of place. Meg, where's the area Alf talked about? Never mind, she said faintly, shaking her head. Never mind? She spoke quickly, panicked. I shouldn't have posted on the BBS. I shouldn't have agreed to meet you. Something's going on. She warped out. When I checked the BBS later, her post had been deleted. What happened to change her mind so quickly? Was it the merchant? Why was there an NPC in the dungeon? Could it have been a system administrator in disguise, she thought? There were too many mysteries to unravel. There sure were. The sun shone brightly in the sky of Dunloyrig. My baby Grunty continued demanding food for its bottomless stomach. Boo-hee! It suddenly squealed and began to glow. What's wrong? I shouted. It's growing, a voice said. I turned to see Chimney and Nova. See, look how big it's gotten. Chimney pointed toward my baby. My Grunty now stood 2 sizes larger than before. I was stunned. You see, Grunties go through 2 growth phases before becoming adults, Nova explained. I'm surprised to see you raising one, Chimney said. I explained how I'd accidentally bought it. Chimney laughed. They're pretty spacey. Oh, you're pretty spacey, Black Rose. Never mind that. How come you're here? We were walking by when Chimney noticed you standing around. Nova said. I shouted, but you didn't notice, said Chimney. I scrolled back through the log. He had called out. Sorry. Chimney moved closer. A lot's been happening in this game lately. You said it. Do you read the BBS? Do you read the BBS, Black Rose? Asked Nova. I skim it, I answered. I don't read it at all, said Chimney indifferently. I just asked Nova about it. I mean, that's one way to get your news. It was funny to see how different those two were. I was just reading about how Orca of the Azure Sea hasn't logged on lately, Nova said. That's big news, since he's usually here every day. He had no life, now he has a life, I kid. I couldn't tell them Orca couldn't log in because he was in a coma from playing the game. No one else knew that. Orca of the Azure Sea, said Chimney. Isn't he one of the descendants of Fianna? Right, Nova continued. He's famous for clearing the One Sin event with Balmung. Finally, I remembered where I'd heard of them before. Fumikazu mentioned them right before he went into a coma. I wished I could talk to Fumikazu, even if just to tell him I was trying my best. Although I was up against a foe so formidable that it beat one of the 2 greatest heroes the game had ever produced, I would still try to fight it. I decided to see if I could influence my friends. How to make friends that influence people? Where was it? Oh yeah, I heard a lot of people are leaving the game lately, I said casually. Is that true? Chimney asked. Is it because of the kid who fell into a coma? Nova replied. My heart jumped. Are they talking about my brother? What kid? I asked. Some high school senior. I heard about it in the news. They were talking about someone else. How many people have been affected so far?
A lot.
So what? You're not scared, are ya? Chimney taunted. I looked up the article on a different screen while we talked. The senior's name was Tomonari Kazumi. He was from Kanazawa. The article said he collapsed in a gaming club office with a friend, who also fainted but quickly recovered. What if the two of them had been playing the world? But why did one fall into a coma while the other recovered? What made their fates different? As long as I knew there was a chance for recovery, I had to keep moving forward. That coma thing kind of reminds me of something I read on the BBS about the fragment, Chimney said. The fragment? I asked. What's that? It's the original version of the world, Nova explained. There was a rumor on the message boards that one of the original 1,000 players of the fragment committed suicide just before the game ended. I love internet mystery shit like this. This is so fun. Oh my goodness! Fucking Wand of Gamelon ass. Oh my goodness, I cried. Yeah, pretty tragic. I'm sure it didn't have anything to do with the game. Totally. His life must have been crud before that, Chimney added. Wait, how do you know that that isn't just a rumor someone started? I said. You know, like getting an A on your college exams if your roommate dies. I've never heard of that one. Nova shrugged. Well, that's just what the BBS threads were saying, at least. Except now that I think about it, maybe it was a programmer. He cocked his head to the side. One of the programmers committed suicide? Actually, I think he just disappeared. I don't remember. I read it so long ago, Nova said, but I think they never found him, so everyone assumed he died. But really, he just went missing? Yeah, I guess. I would have to investigate further. If the fragment is the previous version of the world... Wait, what? If, quote, the fragment, unquote, is the previous version of the world, is the same programmer responsible for the current problems? She thought to herself. You don't happen to know his name, do you? I pressed. Why are you so interested? Asked Chimney. I'm just concerned. I didn't think a game could have such deadly consequences. I tried to say matter-of-factly. They're just rumors, and rumors are best when they end quickly, Chimney announced pointedly. Hell yeah, Chimney. Rumors are best when they end quickly or never start to begin with. Fuck rumors, man. We don't need rumors, hearsay, or conjecture. We need confirmed facts. And when I say facts, I don't mean... I'm getting off track. Yawny Yonson over here. Okay. Hold on, I need to check something real quick. Okay. True, we can't have fun playing if we believe all the rumors, said Nova. I wish they were only rumors, but I knew better. At least now I had a new lead to investigate. Oh look, isn't that the cat character everyone's talking about? I followed Chimney's gaze to a suspension bridge. For the first time, I witnessed the strange feline. Is this the character Kite talked about meeting, she thought? She had indigo fur and long ears that were actually more rabbit-like than feline, and they are talking about Mia. And I'm gonna close out... this page. Close, thank you. And we will meet... Where are you? I swear I put you in here. Where the fuck are you? There you are. We shall meet. Mia! Great design. Love this design. Very cute. But also somewhat mysterious and intimidating. Yes, she's meant to be a cat, but she's got really long, rabbit-like ears. She appeared to be a blade master, although I didn't know if she could be counted as that class anymore. She can't be a player, Nova commented. She must be an NPC, because players can't create avatars that look like animals. I couldn't take my eyes off her. What was her name again? Mia? Maybe she's an administrator. She's coming this way, Nova pointed out. Mia steadily approached us, a sinking feeling formed in my gut. There were no other characters in sight, and I doubted she was heading to the Grunty Ranch. The Runty Ganch? Oh man, the thought of swapping those two letters is so... The Runty Ganch. That's very funny. Or the Runty Granch, if we want to keep the GR of Grunty. The Runty Granch. I still like Runty Ganch. I knew she couldn't be an NPC. She had been in a party with Elk. I didn't think she was an administrator either. An administrator wasn't likely to tell Kite about gate hacking. She looked directly at me. I wonder if we could speak alone. Her words were so unexpected I didn't react. Do you know her? Nova asked. No, I stammered. You can decline if you want, Nova said, stepping forward to shield me. Mia just continued to gaze at me with her big eyes, as if Nova and Chimney weren't there. Come along, I'll show you something you'll want to see. Without waiting for an answer, she walked toward the Chaos Gate. Sorry, I need to go, I told my friends. What? Don't go with her, Chimney protested. Do you want us to go with you? Nova asked. I did, but I couldn't involve them. I'll be alright. Leave it to me. Don't worry. I quickly ran after Mia. When I caught up with her, she suddenly turned and said, You smell like the bracelet. You know the bracelet's owner? I didn't think she could smell in an RPG. That's a bit strange, isn't it? Oh, she's extra fluffy in this sketch drawing. She's so cute. That's her in-game model right there. See, the fluff doesn't really come across as much as it would in the drawings. Still cute though. Huh? I can smell it on you. What is she talking about? How can she smell anything in a game? What do you know? Well, want to know where we're going? She asked, her eyes blazing. You'll go, won't you? I nodded as if hypnotized. Of course I would go. It was the only way to find out why Fumikazu collapsed and how he might recover. I passed my member address to her and we formed a party. We transferred to the Delta server and went to Bursting Past Over Aquafield. It was a newbie area with an estimated level of 1. This is a Bursting Past Over Aquafield is actually the first level that you go to in the game. Oh, that's actually cool. Anyway, can I actually? No, okay. Go down, please. Really? There we go. Okay. Where are we? Delta server and went to Bursting Past Over Aquafield. It was a newbie area with an estimated level of 1. Why are we here, she thought. Suddenly everything rumbled so loudly that I wanted to cover my ears. The display flashed blindingly white. What's going on? I yelled. When I opened my eyes, Mia had disappeared. A wilderness stretched before me. Pieces of ruins and rocky crags floated in the dark green sky. A pale mist hung over the ground. I could see a magic portal faintly drawn at my feet. The color matched the tear in the graphics. I tried to swallow, but my mouth was too dry. I heard an eerie noise behind me. Quickly, I turned. The graphics inverted, rippling and warping into a circular shape. A red cross emerged from the sunken center of the disc. It was different from the typical cross in that the intersection held a circle. I knew I'd seen it somewhere before, but I wasn't sure what kind of cross it was. "Stay away!" I shouted. I felt goosebumps run up and down my arms. From inside the warped space, the thing holding the red cross slowly appeared. It was humanoid, with skin the texture of rock, and it emanated a black, ominous aura. It looked like death. Suddenly, I knew this was the thing that put Fumikazu into a coma. It was coming straight at me, but without Kite, how can I defeat it? And that is the end of the chapter and the first appearance of Skaith. That's what he... Imagine just like playing an MMO and suddenly this fucker shows up. Also, that's the censored version for America because cross imagery, but in the original Japanese version, it is a cross. They just took out the center part for some goddamn reason. But yes, that is Skaith, the Terror of Death. I used to be terrified of him, but now he's one of my favorite bosses because he's so goddamn cool looking. He's simple, but unnerving, you know? Also, ignore that phase thing at the top. Here, hold on, I got you. There we are. And the end of the chapter. And the next chapter is called Crush. I wish it was a romantic crush, but that's not the kind of book we're reading. Come on and fight. I was actually impressed with my bravado. Unfortunately, the creature continued to approach, brandishing the cross before my eyes. I wanted to run, but there was nowhere to go. Even though defeating it was impossible, I readied my sword. The creature floated in the air, raising its red cross. I suddenly felt like I had a gun aimed at my head. This is supposed to be only a game, I told myself. Slowly it raised its other arm. Light focused sharply as it concentrated its ghastly power. This is going to get me. Oh, this thing's going to get me. I've got to move. I've got to go. I've got to do something right now. I thought she said I have to go do something. Sorry, I can't die right now. I've got to go do something. I got this thing. You wouldn't understand. You understand. You get it. So funny. All right. Anyway. The more I panicked, the less I knew what to do. I was paralyzed by fear. I'm going to end up like Fumikazu, I thought. Fumikazu. As the image of his sleeping face crystallized, something deep inside me began to boil. I won't lie down and die without a fight, she thought to herself. Give me back Fumikazu! I shouted. I jumped in the air and slashed at it. I might only have one chance, so I aimed at the shoulder and swung using all my might. All my digital might? The sword passed right through the creature as if it were made of air. I went right through it as well and then landed somewhere behind it. I sensed another presence behind me. What now? I spun around to face a character I'd never seen before. He was ginormous with blue painted skin. What? And hair that partially concealed his face. Crucified on the cross that Death had been holding. He slowly rose into the air, and then another form appeared. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was Kite! I tried to meet him halfway, but my body wouldn't move. My legs were stuck to the ground. Blue painted skin. I don't know who that is, I don't think. Then I realized that none of this was real. That's why I couldn't interfere. It was an illusion. I was watching the past replay before my eyes. Oh, it was Orca. Which is this guy. Bam. Right there he is. They say it's blue. It's green in the game, but there's a guy who looks just like Orca in Dot Hack's sign with blue painted skin who looks, like I said, almost the exact same. Anyway. What is this? it's dot. Yes, it's the dot hack sign OST. Fuck yeah! Right on time. Oh, it's got visuals. That's so cool. Oh, that's gorgeous. I like that. That's part of Dot Hack Sign, the anime. I love that show. I have the entire series on DVD. I need to rewatch that someday. Then I realized none of this was real. That's why I couldn't interfere. It's an illusion. That's a little bit loud, actually. Also, that wasn't Black Rose. That was a different character who looked a lot like her character in the game. Anyway, it's an illusion. I was watching the past replay before my eyes. Suddenly, it all made sense. The victim on the cross must have been Kite's friend Orca. All I could do was watch as the scene unfolded. Everything moved in a slow motion. A dazzling arrow of light flew from Death's arm toward Orca on the cross. He was being data drained. I stiffened. The light zapped Orca and he fell with a thud. He didn't move. I could hear Orca groaning as Kite tried to run toward him. It wasn't supposed to be this way. I'm sorry. Get out of here, Orca gasped. Orca's body rose into the air and suddenly his image dispersed. All the data that formed him disassembled. Data drain. This was the moment a player lost consciousness. Before I could get everything straight in my head, the image disappeared, swallowed in a sea of noise and light. It was a thick, dull sound, and then everything went black. Nice little sketch of the flashback that's being played. System error flashed on the screen. I'd been kicked out of the world. I flung the goggles from my head. My body was soaked in sweat. Yeah, fucking bet. Goddamn. You just witnessed a guy get put into a coma. By a furry lady. That's fucking crazy, dude. That's crazy talk. Alright. I closed my eyes and breathed deeply. I heard an ambulance siren rushing somewhere down the street. It sent a shiver through me. I looked down and noticed an orange light spilling from the goggles. I timidly peeked inside and saw the world desktop. Even the system error had been an illusion. I noticed the email icon flashing on and off. I had a message from Mia. Quote, "You just witnessed the instant your friend received the bracelet. The human who was data drained is in a coma. You wanted to see that, didn't you? Let's keep this a secret between us. Of course, I don't think anyone else would believe you if you told them." Damn, we're not even an hour in. I mean, we're 7 minutes from an hour, but still. I wonder if I can finish this volume. I reread the email again and again. Should I tell Kite? He's the only one who would believe me. But I was sure Kite didn't want to believe the bitter memory. Didn't want to relive the bitter memory, so I decided not to tell him. But why did Mia show me what happened? And how was she able to show it to me? More important, who is Mia? I tried to write a reply to Mia's message, but no matter how many times I sent it, it bounced back. Even though it was fall, the air remained thick with summer heat. Everyone seemed calm, but I couldn't stop my heart from pounding, and my legs from shaking. This would be my first tournament. Oh yeah, this was her. This is the bit where she does her first tournament. I trudged along the last in line. As I headed toward the courts, I saw Arisa with the upperclassmen. They looked in my direction. I tried to meet their gaze, but she quickly looked away. I wanted her to help me, but I knew that if she was seen talking to me, she'd get bullied too, and that's probably why she'd been avoiding Akira this whole time. She didn't want to get bullied. Sad. I couldn't think about it. I had to concentrate on the match. Bullying was outside the court, and I couldn't let it interfere with my game. But I knew it would only be a matter. Nope. But I knew it would only. Blah, 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 blah. I knew it would only get worse if I lost. They would say that I couldn't handle it, that I shouldn't have been given a position on the team. I had to do well in today's match to prove myself. I stood alone on the courts. No one wanted to do warm-up stretches with me. Korra and Asaoka were busy setting up, so I stretched alone. At times, I felt Risa looking at me, but I didn't acknowledge her. Hayami? Captain Korra called. I rushed over. It's mostly team games today, so don't worry too much. I know it's your first match, so just do your best. She gave me a friendly smile. I will. The tournament would last 2 days. Today would be... I cannot speak. Today we would do doubles, singles, then doubles again. A match would end once someone won 2 sets. Tomorrow would be all individual matches. Let's head over to the court, urged Korra. Korra. My right hand shook. I told myself it would be alright, that I'd trained hard for this. The court felt bigger now that it was surrounded by a sea of eager faces, staring out at the spectators. I had a sudden sensation of vertigo. Hayami? Asaoka called. Yes? I answered, my throat dry. Are you ready for the first formal match? Hayami can handle it, right? Oh, Hayami can handle it, right? Korra patted me on the back. I nodded. The coach grinned as he sat on the bench. I'm sure you'll do fine, he said reassuringly. Yeah, I can do this, she said to herself. Oh, ad time. Good evening, VOD watchers. I hope you're enjoying this read-through. My Wi-Fi just keeps going in and out a lot, and it's very frustrating, but all I can do is keep reading. I feel like I worry that if I look at it too much, it's gonna get worse. I don't know I doubt that's how that works, though. It feels the fear. We'll be ending the stream at 2 hours or so because I have a job in the morning. Same for Thursday, actually. So, yeah. I'm kind of glad I do these streams because it really makes the weeks fly by, sort of. Time flies when you're not paying attention to it, you know? Sorry, that was me dropping the cardboard sleeve thing for my coffee cup, even though I'm drinking tea. Oh, I love this fucking... Good shit, though. 1 minute, 41 seconds. I'm very close. I'm so close to finishing Grandia. I'm very excited about it. I may actually lose some sleep just trying to beat the game tonight. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still gonna get off of here at about 9, though. I really want to finish that game because I have other games that I want to start, like One Piece Odyssey. I'm so excited to play One Piece Odyssey, man. Oh, ever since I saw gameplay of it, I'm like, this looks so fucking sweet, dude. Oh, and the story, I don't know what story they're gonna tell, but I'm sure it'll be nice, and the character interactions are gonna be so fun. Oh, so hyped to play One Piece Odyssey. I think this will be the most RPGs I've played in a row. Unless you count Jedi Survivor, which I beat last month, I believe. Either that or early this month. Because that was really fun. And you level up, so it's kind of like an RPG. Like maybe an action RPG, either way. I beat that one, it's very fun, and it makes it seem like they're going to have another sequel. I hope so. I really fucking hope so, because Fallen Order was really fun. So fun. And it was nice to see a continuation of that story, even if it took place like several years after. The start of the game was a little was like worrying. I was like, uh-oh, we're not looking at the crew, and then we're like, what happened to the crew? And then you learn what happened to the crew, and you're like, okay, that's fair. easily threw the worries away. Anyway, we're back from the ad. Welcome back, live watchers, if there are any of you actually watching. If there are, bless you. I know this sort of thing isn't exactly the most popular, I don't know. But I really like doing it. It's fun. I don't know. I seem to get through a book much quicker whenever I read it out loud, because I'm already, like, almost 3/4 of the way through this book. Like, we are on the back half of this book already. But then again, there's 4 volumes of this book. There's 4 volumes of this story. Still, oh. I don't know if the mic picked up the ambulance that just drove by, but that does tend to happen on a semi-regular basis. It's really weird. Anyway, we're getting back into the book. She is at her, Akira is at her first tennis match. She's incredibly worried because she's been bullied. Koura and Amamiya worked in perfect unison and nearly shut out the opposing. Wait. Sorry, I skipped a page. Let's see. I sat through my first matches, my mind completely blank, until Asaoka snapped me out of it. You should go warm up, she urged. I looked around the crowd. My dad had said he would come, but I hoped that he'd stay at home. But I knew he wouldn't. He was probably out there somewhere waiting to cheer me on. I only hoped I wouldn't disappoint him. The whistle signaled the end of the first doubles match, and my body lurched. Koura and Amamiya worked in perfect unison and nearly shut out the opposing team. Hayami, your shoes are untied, Asaoka called out as I headed toward the court. I bent down to tie them. My hands started shaking as I remembered how the laces had gotten cut the day the bullying began. Calm down, she thought to. Oh, I told myself. Stay focused. Nothing matters but the game. Hayami, the coach shouted before I reached the court. Yes, sir. Relax. Yes, sir, I answered. I felt dazed, but I couldn't even hear the cheers from the crowd. I had to win this match. I faced my opponent, who was serving cunt. No, serving first. Asaoka had told me she was a junior who'd won second place at last year's spring tournament. Her specialty was using her long reach in volleys. Our eyes met for an instant. Cold sweat dripped down my back. I bet it fucking would. God damn, dude. You are up against a wall. Stay focused. I tightened my grip on my racket and took a deep breath. I can do this. The referee blew the whistle. My opponent's first serve blistered down the middle. I returned badly, and she scored the point. She's a good player. That's okay. I don't have to break her serve right away. Just focus on not letting her break mine. She won the first game, but I managed to calm down enough to hold serve on the second. It was an adequate start. I had to get into a good rhythm and hope an opportunity would come up later in the set. Back and forth it went until we'd each won 4. But just as she went up to serve the 9th game, I saw my dad waving from outside the fence. In that instant, my opponent's smash blew right by me and ace. Fucking dad, I swear to God, you had to ruin every goddamn thing. Fuck. 15 Love, why did he have to show up? Suddenly it was as if nothing I did was right. My dad's presence there rattled me. Come on, your first string. First stringers shouldn't let simple stuff like that bug them. But no, the fact that it had affected me rattled me even more, and I lost the next point as well. Then when I managed to get the next point on a lucky shot, I couldn't help thinking that first stringers shouldn't have to rely on luck. I knew it didn't make any sense, but I started to feel like all the people watching me knew what those bullies on this team had been saying behind my back. That I, a freshman, didn't deserve to be playing that game. And when the next 3 points blew by me, it only reinforced my feelings of unworthiness. Losing that game should have been nothing big, but just thinking about it completely ruined my rhythm, and I only managed 1 point in the next game. My serve was broken, and with that, the first set belonged to my opponent. Almost drowned by the cheers of the students and parents from the other school came the sound of Koura's voice. He said that the match was only just beginning, but his words didn't really reach my heart. All I could think about was how if I lost the next set, it'd be over. I'd fail my school, and there would be no need for those whispers behind my back. I clenched my teeth. When I heard someone shout my name, it was Miho. Shoko stood next to her, waving. Somehow seeing their familiar faces in school uniforms helped me collect my scattered wits and calm my nerves. I realized it didn't really make any sense that this should calm me when seeing my dad had rattled me, but somehow it was enough to allow me to go out there and serve a good first cunt. Serve a good first game. There's something about the phrase serving cunt that's so funny to me. Serve a good first game of the second set. It was on the next game that my opportunity came. Checking something real quick. Okay. Yeah, I love this one. Love it. The music for this fucking show is gorgeous. Alright. My opponent served too soft. Her mistake. I rushed the net and smashed it back. Love 15. I still had a chance. I had strength and endurance. My technique and strategy weren't so hot, but if I could rally until my opponent ran out of stamina, I could still win. Whatever she hit at me, I would wear her down physically. It was the only weapon I had. Love 30, love 40. Maybe it wasn't the most impressive display of tennis skills to watch, but I got the job done. Her serve was broken. I was up 2 games to none. My serve, I was fine. Now the only cheers I let through to me were from my supporters, my friends, and my dad. 3 games to 0. After that, I just focused again on holding serve. Second set, victory. Yes! I finally allowed myself to show some emotion. That's good, Hayami. Put all your energy into it. My coach sounded confident. But I knew I had gotten there more out of sheer doggedness than actual skill. Are you kidding me? It takes skill to have that kind of endurance, Akira. Calm the fuck down, girl. Goddamn. But I knew I had gotten there. Oh, doggedness than actual skill. Still, I grinned almost savagely and took a swig of my sports drink. Sports drink. There's something really funny whenever a writer doesn't put in the specific brand. Because you never think of Powerade or Gatorade as like sports drinks, but they are. There's just something really funny about it. Before settling in for the next set. So what if I was not pretty? So what if it's not pretty? I'll just keep wearing her down and we'll see who comes out on top. I'm gonna top. She started the third set and we again traded off holding serve. In my fourth service game, she managed to get ahead on the first point with her trademark smash return, but it had lost its edge. Before my next serve, I stared across the net at my opponent's face. She was breathing heavily. The long match had obviously taken a toll on her. She did manage to return my next serve, but it came back as a dull lob. I smashed it back, managing a bit of spin on the ball, and she couldn't get it in time. It was 15-15. So what if she'd gotten the first point? She had definitely run out of energy, but I still had a lot of game left. You know, game, the physical the property of matter, the game of it. Anyway, if she scores, I'll just score back, and then if she kisses, I'll just kiss back. There's not like I feel like if we knew the character she was playing against, this would feel like some like sexual tension or romantic tension. And then like after the match, you're just like, oh, just making out of fucking nowhere. Oh, I love that trope. It's so fucking funny. Okay, let's see. Score back, and then after winning this game, I'll take advantage of her fatigue and break her next serve. Like, bro, come on. My next serve was a winner, but then the next volley was in. dense. I fired off powerful shots that were hard to hit, but she managed to keep returning them. Hayami, keep going! Wait, what was that voice? Wait, was that voice Risa's? Our eyes met, briefly, through the fence. The upperclassmen around her whispered to her, but she ignored them. Perhaps my other friends' cheers for me had given her courage. The sound of her voice spread warmth to my chest, and I nodded. This is so gay. This is so gay! Oh man, that's very funny. But also, I'm getting Bai vibes from Akira, because later on in the game / book, she starts to feel really hard towards Kite as well. Anyway, the sound of her voice spread warmth to my chest. Like, bro. And I nodded to her. The intense game occupied all my attention, but right then I must have been smiling. I'm fine now. Everything's going to be okay. But then I overreached. My return went a bit long, and my opponent had tied the game. On her next return, it looked like she was drawing on her very last reserves, and I had to hit back frantically to keep from being left behind. But this had to be her final effort. I'm definitely going to be able to win this. But the instant I thought that, she swung left, and I ran to cover, but the ball came right. It was a feint. She was up, and she feinted on her next return, also breaking my serve. She was more fatigued than me, and it must have been obvious to everyone watching, but so was our difference in skill level. She'd finally found my Achilles heel, and she took advantage of it, and on feint after feint, I just kept falling forward until on match point I broke the other way, expecting a feint, and it ended up straight shot. This fucking bitch of an opponent, fuck her, that brushed behind me. I had lost. A tear of frustration rolled down my cheek. I tried so hard and still lost, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Okay. We traded respectful bows across the net, and she smiled at me. You just about had me, uh-huh. She let out, obviously drained. Your stamina is amazing, but it takes experience to recognize feints. Oh, fuck you. I'm sure you'll get there before long. That was a good match. I fucking hate shit like that. Like, I get that they're trying to be encouraging, but fucking goddamn it, man. Shit sucks. You feel absolutely worthless whenever something like that happens. And them trying to be encouraging just adds salt to the wound. I nodded. Yeah, it still hurt, but she was right. At least now I knew my weakness. I could improve. I would improve. After my match, our second doubles team unexpectedly lost as well, handing our high school first round loss and early exit from the tournament. Well, that fucking sucks. And then in my double elimination individual tournament matches the next day, both of my opponents exploited my now widely known weakness against feints and took me down in rather short order. That's so shitty, leaving me with a very bitter taste. Yeah, dude, that would make me feel like absolute garbage. One person finds a weakness and then everyone fucking exploits it. That's so horrid. Like, I get that's the game, but for fuck's sake, how is she supposed to know what her fucking problem was? I did start to see the feints a bit better by the end of the second game, though still not nearly well enough to pull out a victory. My experience in the tournament gave me a burning desire to get better. Really? That would just destroy my motivation, personally. I now knew the exact skills that I lacked, and I did take one thing away from the tournament that made me more than happy enough to overcome the disappointment. Really? Risa had called out to me. My lover. She was still my friend. Uh-huh. And now our relationship was back to normal. Yes, by cheering at her and not talking out their issues, the relationship was back to normal. Oh my god. It had been so long since she and I smiled at our... Wait, what? It had been so long since she and I made our trip home side by side, but now we talked about places we wanted to go, things we wanted to shop for, meaningless little things that meant everything in the world to me. She's so gay. Oh my god. This is absurd. This is the gayest fucking thing I've ever heard. Gay in, like, literal actually being gay. Like, that's got such gay vibes. Holy shit. Oh my god. Okay. I had an email from Kite. Quote, I know where it is. I finally found it. He didn't say anything else. Was the it he referred to the death thing I'd witnessed? He didn't say what he was going to do now that he'd found it, but he clearly didn't invite me along. It was obvious that he wanted to do this alone. I logged on to look for him. Since he wasn't there yet, I lingered there near the Theta server Chaos Gate. Theta. There it is. There we go. Bam. Where are we? Theta server Chaos Gate, so right there on the right. Unable to get Orca's words out of my head. It wasn't supposed to be this way. I'm sorry. Get out of here. I think Orca must have been teaching Kite about the game, just as Nova and Chimney had showed me. Once they'd encountered the irregular creature, Orca had tried to protect Kite, and in the end, had been forced to use himself as a shield so Kite could escape. Kite appeared from the Chaos Gate and froze. Hey. Oh, god damn it. There's a fucking scene from iCarly that still lives rent-free in my fucking head, and it starts with Spencer sitting on the couch with his head on the back of the couch, staring up at the ceiling, and Carly walks in. He, with his head still on the back of the couch, he turns his head and he's like, hey. The way he fucking says that is so good. Hey. And Carly comes back with, how long have you been sitting there? How long have you been sitting there staring at the ceiling? And he looks back up at the ceiling. He's like 9 minutes. I don't know why, but that entire segment just lives rent free in my goddamn brain. Specifically the fucking hey and the 9 minutes. I don't know why. There's nothing particularly incredible about it. From what I can remember, it's just really funny to me. Okay. Oh, hey. Were you gonna go without me? I asked angrily. It might be there. Oh, it might be there, he said hoarsely. The thing that hurt Orca, I didn't want to put you at risk too. I wasn't gonna ask where he'd learned this information. It didn't bother me if he investigated when I wasn't around, but when it came to confronting the creature that had brought us together, we were in this to the end. Are you gonna try to defeat it? I don't know if I can, he said glumly. I'm going with you. I might not be much use in the fight, but I can't let him go alone, she thought to herself. Kite remained quiet. What's wrong? I asked. He hesitated. It's dangerous. So what? I replied. Hasn't that been the case this whole time? I won't let you leave me here after we've come this far. Kite remained silent before he finally replied. If you're that determined... Then let's get going, I finished his sentence. We formed a party. So where's the enemy? At Chosen... He was about to tell me when I heard a familiar voice. Hey! What are you two doing? Kite and I turned around. It's Mistral! The baby! I love Mistral. Best girl. Best fucking girl in the entire game series. In the entire series, she is best girl. There's only a second best girl in GU, and she was the main reason why I kept playing GU. Most of the other main characters were garbage, but her, Mistral, and one other girl that I cannot remember the name of, but I love her. I take that back. All the side characters in GU are super cool. It's the main characters that are just garbage, man. The main two characters, the Sasuke-esque guy who's voiced by Sasuke, and his love interest. Both of those people are just so fucking stupid. They act so stupid. They act like teenagers, honestly, and I can't remember if they are teenagers or not. If they are, it's a little more understandable. If not, they're absolute morons. Either way, Mistral smells to me like something's up. Take me with you, Mistral said. I didn't like the idea of bringing her along. She didn't know the risks like I did. Not today, Mistral, Kite replied. I'm glad for once we're on the same page. Black Rose thought to herself. Anywhere you go, you'll need a wave master, you know, Mistral insisted. Come on, hurry and invite me. Kite and I switched to parties chat so that we could talk privately. What do we do? I asked. We could use a wave master, but it's too dangerous. You said it. Kite switched back and told Mistral, I'm sorry, Mistral, this is a game, but we're going someplace really dangerous. Dangerous? Am I too low level for you? It's not that. Mistral's voice suddenly sounded gleeful. If it has something to do with that room we visited, then I think I have a right to go too. Kite and I looked at each other. You sure you want to go? Kite asked. Of course, she replied. Hold on, I'm getting a fucking... Oh my god. I keep avoiding this call from the fucking sub people. Hold on. Fucking knew it. The next day assignment, even though I'm already scheduled to work the next day. Oh boy. Sometimes I wish they would keep track of that across multiple counties, but I feel like if they did that, then if I tried to tell them I was I was fully scheduled for the week, then they'd be like, "Nuh-uh, because you got like 2 days you can pencil in." I'm like, "Nuh-uh, I ain't doing that. Not unless you've scheduled a week-long sub job for one teacher. That it ain't happening unless that's happening." Anyway, I sighed. I guess we don't want word of this spreading. I told Kite privately. All right, Kite said. You're in on one condition. If it gets too dangerous, you have to drop out of the party and run. Ho ho! This sounds juicy. Mistral grinned. Juicy. I'm not kidding. Agreed? He pressed. Okay. Kite invited Mistral into the party. Mistral. Oh my god. Mistral's name makes me think of the way that everyone pronounces Mithril in Lord of the Rings, and it's so fucking. I won't say it's stupid. It is a way of saying it. But it's so fucking goofy and funny. They say Mithril, and it's and because of the way Mistral's name is pronounced, I'm just like Mistral. Oh, god damn it. Mistral. Alright. Kite invited Mistral into the party. So let's go! Kite looked in my direction and nodded. The place we're going to is called Chosen Hopeless Nothingness. What a fucking name. Sounds lovely, I commented. Yeah, for real. The transfer screen changed to a gate hacking screen. I wondered if we'd make it back unharmed. What is this place? Asked Mistral. A howling wind pierced my ears. As I looked around, I could see a bunch of short, barren trees lit against the twilight sky. Bleached bones sat in piles beneath their trunks. A deep, swirling black fog covered the ground, though small fissures opened up to reveal dark red magma. Whenever the light from the magma faded, computer code crackled up. This was a bad place. Really? You don't say, Akira. There were many rifts in the scenery, far more than any other place I had visited, with the exception of the scene Mia had shown me. The bracelet, muttered Kite. Does it hurt? I asked. No, it's shining. Kite's bracelet pulsed with energy. This is the first time it's done that, he added. Hey! Oh, it's Mistral. Hey! There's a dungeon over there! Mistral came running up. I accidentally bit my tongue a little bit. I hadn't even noticed she'd left. Were you walking around? Kite asked. Yep, I had to check it out. I mean, this is one unusual area, right? Try and stay close from now on, Kite warned. Fine, but can we hit the dungeon already? Mistral pleaded. Yeah, let's go. I love how peppy she is. She's just as peppy in the game. I love her. in and out of the game, especially whenever you realize like who she is as a person outside of the game. It's great. We love Mistral. All my homies love Mistral. Let's see. We ran into several magic portals, all of them filled with powerful enemies. We tried to keep our contact to a minimum, so we'd So we'd be fresh for whatever we faced underground. Tried to keep our contact. I don't really understand what that means, but sure. The dungeon walls, floor, and ceiling contained the same fissures and tears in the fabric of the game as anywhere else. Where are you? We renewed my... Oh, wait. I renewed my grip on the controller. We couldn't go back now. We saw the familiar purple mist just outside the final room. Mistral cast boosting magic on us before we entered. That boosting magic is legit. It is so good. We couldn't go back now. We saw the familiar purple mist just outside the... Oh, I already did that. This way we were stronger, tougher, and faster than ever. You can also use items that do the same thing without having to use a Wave Master. It's a boss. Is it? Oh, it's a boss or something, right? With this magic boost, we should kick ass. Mistral said with a grin. I love her enthusiasm. But I knew boosting magic wouldn't protect us from a data drain. I mean, you're not wrong, but we'll get to that. I wiped the sweat from my hands onto my shirt. Let's go. Kite took the lead and advanced slowly into the room. Mistral and I followed behind. What the heck is this place? Mistral shouted. It no longer looked like a room, but more like an entirely new location. I recognized it as the place where Orca had fallen. When we walked through the door, we must have warped from the dungeon to this location, and I don't have that location in an image file. A pretty young girl in a white dress floated in the air. She looked familiar as well. And that is the introduction of Aura. She cute. That's her in the book. Damn it. Yeah, that the full view on the right is how she looks in game. Her arms and legs are hidden behind that big ol' cloak. Where are we? A pretty young girl in a white dress floated in the air. She looked familiar as well. Aura? Kite cried. She's the one who gave Kite his bracelet, I thought. Then I realized where I had seen her. It was her statue bound at the altar in Hidden Forbidden Holy Ground. That's right. She has a statue. There's a statue of Aura in Hidden Forbidden Holy Ground that I've shown, or that I showed last week, and it's covered in chains. That's why Kite had examined the statue so closely. He'd recognized her. I see you received my message. Aura's voice was quiet, as if coming from far away. Unfortunately, it's too late. Did Aura tell Kite where to find the death thing? Wait, there's something I have to ask you. As Kite spoke, Aura started fading, becoming almost transparent. And then a red cross suddenly appeared behind her. Was that? Cried Mistral. The scenery inverted and the piercing howl returned. Death! I wanted to run, but I stood my ground. It raised its hands over its head, pointing at Aura. No! Kite cried. Before he could do anything, it fired a data drain at her. Her body scattered and disappeared. Only a crimson sphere remained, hanging in the air like a red balloon. Aura's spirit? Akira thought to herself. Death's body contracted as it amassed power, flickering Flickering lightning shot from its hands, and it surged its power at the red ball of light. We heard Aura's terrified scream as her course split into 3 pieces, and then disappeared into the sky. Aura was gone, and so was any clue that she might have given us. I gazed at death. Its ominous red cross shined in my eyes. Here it comes! We readied our weapons behind us. Behind us, Mistral backed away. A boss like this might use long-range attacks after all, she explained shakily. Yeah, I bet she's terrified. Oh, wait, hold on. I've been using the wrong fucking screen this whole time. It's this one that I want to use. That's the one. His name is Skaith. Get. Well, I can't move it to the left, but... There we are. I gazed at death. Its ominous red cross shined in my eyes. Here it comes. Oh wait, boss. Like, yeah, remember? She explained. It seemed even more overwhelming than when I saw it the other day. Somehow I suddenly knew its name was Skaith. Huh? How do I know that? Then I remembered the names written on the pedestal of the girl's statue. Skaith Innis Magus. Black Rose, Kite shouted. Skaith charged directly at me. It moved with such speed I couldn't avoid it. It struck me with so much force that a shudder racked my body and made me jerk in my computer chair. My avatar's hit points dropped nearly to 0 in an instant. But then I heard Mistral chant an Olrepth recovery spell. Also, okay, so... The one thing that's really goofy about Dot Hack is that their spells, while they are like fire, wind, and water-based, they're named nothing like they usually are. It's not just water, it's not just ice, it's not just like healing or whatever. The healing spell is called Repth, R-E-P-T-H, and the higher level healing spell is called Olrepth, and a healing spell that targets the entire party is called Larepth, and the higher level healing spell that targets the entire party is called Olarepth, and it's really fucking weird. I would love to know what language it takes these spell names from. My favorite is the Resurrection spell, and it is pronounced Rip Main. Damn, Rip Main. Oh, it's so goofy. I love it. Shit, Rip Main. All right. Where are we? Oh yeah, Olrepth recovery spell behind me, and my health meter returned to normal. Doing a somersault to gather force, I swung my heavy blade down as hard as I could. Deathbringer! She does shout that in the game too. I shouted. Skate's health meter barely dropped. Whatever this thing was, it was tough. Without pausing, Kite and I launched another assault. Skate's red cross moved behind me. It rose into the air to crucify me as it had Orca. No! Kite slashed, but it didn't even twitch. It happened in an instant. Light shot from Skate's hand. My avatar fell to the ground with a thud. Again, my health verged on death. Everything flickered, indicating that I had been afflicted with virtually every game malady. Paralysis, poison, slow, and sleep. Yet somehow I could still move. Is this the grace of the bracelet that Mia talked about? Yes, it is. Yeah, he actually does that in the game. Every major boss in this game can data drain you, and whenever it does not kill you immediately, but it does give you just about every single status, negative status effect in the game. And there is a spell there's an item. One removes half of every status effect, and then another one removes the other half of every status effect. So if you just keep stocked up on those items, you're golden. It's great. Is this the grace of the bracelet that Mia talked about? At any rate, I was saved. The data drain was ineffective. Fuck yeah, boy. Kite rushed over and used an item on me. First one, then all the affliction. Oh, first one, then all the afflictions vanished. You okay? I'm fine, I murmured, readying my heavy blade. Mistral cast Vacruz, and a ring of light green fireballs converged on screen. Yes, that's the fucking fire spell. Is Vacruz. You'll hear, if you ever play the game, you'll hear Mistral going Vacruz. It's so cute. Because whenever you're in your party in the game, they speak. Like, there's a lot of voice acting in this game, and they always say the names of their spells. Ripmane, Deathbringer, it's super cool. Staccato, that's a physical attack, the attack spell that Kite can use, and I think he. There's also Thunder Dance. It's fucking great. I love it. Anyway. Vacruz and a ring of light green fireballs converged on Skaith. Hey, what's that? I asked, pointing. An icon reading Protect Break OK appeared next to Skaith's figure after Mistral's attack hit. Kite clutched the bracelet. Now it's my turn. I hate fucking animes and shows that do that, where like they have the upper hand and like, no, it's my turn. Like, we weren't taking turns, bitch. I guessed that meant the Data Drain would only work on an opponent after the Protect Break OK status appeared. Now it was up to Kite. If this Data Drain didn't work or he missed, the three of us would end up like Fumikazu and Orca. You ready? I asked Kite. Ready. He got into position. Skaith noticed Kite's movements, but I blocked Skaith's path as it moved toward Kite. I couldn't let it interfere. I'm the one you're fighting. Mistral cast a barrage of recovery magic on me to keep me alive. I threw my few remaining skill points into one all-or-nothing attack, and then from over my shoulder a ray of light shot out. Kite's Data Drain. It pierced through Skaith. It pierced straight through Skaith, and this is now my opportunity to show you what that looks like in-game. It looks like this. Let me just... There we go. It looks like that. This portal opens up, the bracelet like unfolds like a mech, and then this stream of code just like shoots like a cannon at your opponent. It's fucking sweet. But yeah, the bracelet can like bigamize and shrinkify. I fucking love this game, dude. It's such a good series. Near the end, it gets really, really fucking hard. And I've only managed to beat the entire game, the entire original 4 games once. That was on emulator, and I had saved states. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, there we go. Never mind. Sorry. I saw the desktop audio and there was nothing there. And I'm like, wait, what? Anyway. I drew. Oh, never. Here, where are you? It pierced straight through Skaith. A thunderous sound roared as if the very earth were rumbling. Okay, never mind. I already closed it. Skaith suddenly changed form. Its body transformed into solid stone. It became a rock. It was no ordinary rock. Creepy characters bubbled up from its stony surface. Is this Skaith's true form? I asked. It was easier to attack now, so we slowly whittled away Skaith's hit points. Because Mistral didn't need to constantly cast recovery spells, she was able to get in on the action, throwing offensive magic at the creature. Spells I'd never seen before flew past me. We can do it, Kite screamed. Calamity, I shouted, launching an attack skill. I slashed the stone from top to bottom with my heavy blade. It looked like one more strike would kill it. Gale of Winds, Kite yelled as he unleashed a number of attacks at a dizzying speed. Skaith fell, baby. We did it, I cried. Yeah! Mistral ran up and joined us. We got him! All monsters, once they were defeated, were supposed to disappear, but Skaith's body started dissolving into slime. That's weird, I said. What's wrong? Asked Mistral. I pointed to the slime. Suddenly the screen went dark, and everything started rumbling. An erratic zzz came from everywhere, like something short-circuiting. Skaith's corpse finished dissolving and turned into a black shadow. It bubbled like it was boiling. Giant pointed tree shapes poked through the blackened ground and towered up from every direction. We were surrounded. I dropped the controller and grabbed the goggles with both hands, scared. I closed my eyes. All sound suddenly ceased. I slowly opened my eyes. The boiling black shadow and the trees that had grown from it were gone. Kite surveyed our surroundings, while Mistral stood frozen to the spot, for once speechless. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, I remember this now. Their fights, Skaith may be dead, but their fight ain't over. I tried to move, then remembered I'd dropped the controller. Reaching for it, I noticed Kite's dumbfounded gaze. I recovered the controller and looked up. High above us was a giant monstrous creature, its entire body comprised of what looked like twisty pale blue tree roots. Where are we? Surrounded by the erratic pattern of roots was a red solid core pulsing like a heartbeat. The next instant, the air rippled and shook. Where are we? They rippled and shook with tremendous force. We were thrown to the ground, helpless against its attack. All it did was speak. The incredible force that it hit us with was nothing more than its voice. I fell unconscious. And that is what they saw. Chapter ended. That's the end of the chapter. The next stage. This should be the last chapter. Yep, that's the end of the last chapter. Postscript. Okay. Yeah, we can get to the end of the book. Yeah, fuck it. We'll go until I finish the book. There's not much left, and we probably won't go past 2 hours, or we won't go too far past 2 hours. We'll see. Anyway, system error, system error, system error. The 2 words flashed repeatedly on my display. I rubbed my head. It felt like I'd been out for days, but then I checked the clock. It had only been 5 minutes. But when I checked the clock, it had only been 5 minutes. I had no idea what happened. Kite and Mistral okay? I wanted to know, but I was afraid to return to find out. Nevertheless, I had to. But when I tried to re-enter the world, I couldn't get in. Server trouble. Instead of sleeping, I waited for the server to come back up. It was almost dawn by the time the problem was fixed, and I could finally log back on. I found an unusually high number of posts on the BBS. I read as many as I could. Many of the posts described a terrible noise, followed by the connection dropping. Panic spread as rumors of a deadly virus infiltrating the server were posted everywhere. We defeated Skaith, but I wondered if doing so hadn't just created a bigger mess. While reading the BBS, I received an email from Mistral. She was okay. I drew a long sigh of relief and opened the message. Who knew there were, quote, who knew there were monsters like that? Let's play again sometime, with a very cute smiley face. It's the left parentheses, asterisk, the greater than symbol, no, not greater than, the power symbol, the to the power of symbol, the low underline mark, underscore, I guess. Another power of symbol, an asterisk, and then a closed parentheses. So she literally pulled one of these. Hold on, let me see if I can. Your girl pulled one of these. It was so cute. I love Mistral. She's the fucking best. The peppiness is so good. We love to see it. We will learn that thing's name later. For now, we return to Akira in real life. Ugh, figures. She was clueless. Despite everything that had happened, she thought it was all part of the game. That left Kite. If Mistral and I were okay, I'm sure he was too. The only one who had been hurt was Aura. Skaith, Enos, Magus. Now that Skaith was defeated, could the creepy tree thing that had bubbled out of Skaith's shadow and risen monstrously to the sky have been Enos?
It's not.
In either case, it wasn't over yet. Both Enos and Magus. I prefer Enos, because Enos sounds like anus. Enos also sounds like Enos. Anyway, Enos and Magus had to be dealt with. Not to mention the other monsters whose names had been scraped off the pedestal. I knew the server crash had to be related to Skates of Defeat as well, but I didn't know how. I emailed Kite. Quote, I can't help but worry. Are you okay? Did we cause the server to crash? I hope everything returns to normal soon. What we did was a good thing, wasn't it? Black Rose. Miho and I were online when we thought we heard a weird voice and then the connection dropped, Shoko said excitedly. Also, it uses 3 dots in the shape of hexagons to signify the passage of time. So, meanwhile, the next day, Miho and I were online when we thought we heard a weird voice and then the connection dropped. Shoko said excitedly, what do you think it was? I just hope it wasn't the virus everyone's talking about, said Miho. It's kind of funny. Miho is a Spanish word, but also a Japanese name. I felt guilty knowing they were both playing the game at the moment of Skate's defeat. If it's a virus, isn't that a good reason to quit playing? I asked. But it's a game, said Miho indifferently. I used to think that too, but now I don't. Now I know better. It's not only real, it's deadly. Just ask my brother. Akira thought to herself. I wanted to tell them about everything that had happened, but I couldn't. Even if I did, they wouldn't believe me. They didn't even think I played online games. Shoko changed the subject. Enough about the game. Tell us about your match, Akira. Yeah, I didn't know you were so good. Bitch, she lost. What the fuck are you talking about? Miho smiled. What do you mean, I lost? Yeah, what do you mean, I lost, I replied. Yeah, but you kicked ass in that second set, and all your matches were close. I think you were just nervous. That's right, Akira. Akira's our ace in the hole. I turned to see who had spoken, and there was Risa standing behind us, smiling. I grinned. Those upperclassmen were still probably grumbling about me from the shadows, but it no longer bothered me. Shoko noticed the look that passed between us and gave a smile of her own. I gazed at the chaos. That night, I guess. Time has passed. I gazed at the Chaos Gate. I wanted to see what had happened afterward, but I couldn't do it alone. I shifted the goggles so I could see the clock in my room. Kite usually showed up on time, but I was always early. I wondered what Kite was doing right now in real life. Does he have a job? Does he go to school? I found you, Black Rose, I heard Chimney say from behind me. I turned and used a motion command to bow. Nova appeared a moment later. Hey, were you here when the server went down yesterday? Chimney asked. I want to move over to the Theta server. So far, CyberConnect hasn't given any explanation. People are speculating it might have been a virus. It's a virus, Nova said. I could never tell him I was the cause, so instead I asked, were you online? That's not the answer to his question. Yeah, I was. Anyway, he was AFK in the bathroom. Nova pointed to Chimney. That's really funny. An entire game-wide weird unknown event shakes the entire foundation of the game, but you're off in the fucking bathroom taking a dump. That's like the I miss everything sort of thing. It's really funny. Nova pointed at Chimney. He was what? Oh, I keep forgetting you're a newbie. AFK means away from keyboard. I missed out, said Chimney. Nova said there was some strange voice. I wanted to hear it too. Also, I've always wondered why they use AFK for away from keyboard, because just because you're away from the keyboard doesn't mean you're away from the computer, you know? I feel like a more accurate term would be OFC, but that nowadays that either means of fucking course or of course, and that the meaning has just, you know, it's so ubiquitously used these days. That was weird. It's so ubiquitously used these days that we can't really use OFC to refer to away from computer. Maybe OFP, away from PC, or OFPC, away from PC. Either way. I missed out, said Chimney. Nova said there was some strange voice. I wanted to hear it too. He clearly has no idea how dangerous it was, Black Rose thought to herself. Be glad you missed it. That weird noise had made my head hurt. It was pretty awful, Nova said. At least that's all it was to the other players who were online. I felt a mixture of guilt and relief. So you were all right? I asked. Nova replied, Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's nothing wrong with my character data or my computer. Then all's well that ends well, Chimney said. Yeah, except I'd just found a God statue treasure and the noise made me drop it. I think I'm going to go back and look for it. How about you, Black Rose? What are you up to? Nova inquired. So, due to the limitations of the PlayStation 2, the free-formedness of the world MMO is not really portrayed that well in game, because in the game, like, if you drop something, you have to hold on to something or you'll drop it, and then if you drop it, it doesn't despawn, it just stays there, which is really fucking weird. And you're like, oh yeah, maybe I can go back and find it, like they actually exist in that world. I guess that's why it's called the world, because it's, I won't say lifelike, but it's more grounded, as it were. As fantasy-esque as it is, more real-world physics apply in the world than the games portray. Because if you drop something in the game, in the actual PS2 game, you never see it again. It's just gone. It's how you discard stuff from your inventory. Thankfully, as far as I can remember, well, you have unlimited item space for consumable items, but for treasures, you have a limited amount of space, if I remember correctly. Either that or you have a limited amount of space for your weapons and treasures. I'll remember whenever I start playing it for stream. We'll see. Anyway. What are you up to? Oh, yeah. How about you, Black Rose? What are you up to? Nova inquired. I've got something to do, I answered ambiguously. Too bad. Too bad. Well, we're heading out then, Chimney waved cheerfully. Nova looked as if he were about to speak, but he ended up holding back. Perhaps he suspected something. I wondered if I could confide in Nova. Then I decided I shouldn't. Nova was a good guy and very smart, but I didn't want to get him involved in this. Kite appeared a moment later. Come on, let's go, he said cheerfully. Let's see if we can figure out what happened. That thing might still be there, Kite said ominously. It's too dangerous. Oh, I said cheerfully. Okay. Don't you think I know that? Do you really think I want to go back there? I just know we have to. And I don't want to go alone. So unless you're fine leaving things the way they are, let's quit arguing and get on with it. Kite didn't reply. Are you fine with leaving things the way they are? I asked. No, Kite replied. More silence. You aren't thinking of going there alone again, are you? I asked. Oh, yeah, I asked. Kite didn't answer. I knew the answer was yes. Are you nuts? You can't do this alone. Even though we managed to defeat Skaith, it didn't bring... I couldn't finish my thought. Even though we managed to defeat Skaith, it didn't bring Fumikazu or Orca back, she thought to herself. We have no choice but to return, so let's go, I continued. Hurry and invite me. I stared into Kite's CG eyes, wishing I could see the real person behind the avatar. Okay, let's be sure, he said. Time passes. Everything looked exactly as it had before. In other words, it looked like its name described. Hopeless. We walked through the broken landscape without a word, then headed for the deepest part of the dungeon. The bracelet's not shining, Kite pointed out. Something was amiss. It wasn't just the bracelet, it felt like there was something different about this place now. I carefully surveyed the surroundings, then it hit me. There weren't any magic portals. We entered the dungeon and quickly made our way down. Nothing impeded us. There are no enemies, Kite commented. Maybe this area is no longer functioning, I suggested. Kite continued forward in silence, which only made me feel more anxious. So I asked Kite, you think that thing will be there? Yeah, maybe. If it's there, do you think we can win? Well, Kite paused a moment. No. He said it's, no. He said it so casually, it felt crushing. But he was right. We couldn't win against something so immense. Maybe part of why I asked Nope, maybe part of why I trusted Kite was because he was so honest and blunt. Can I ask you something? He nodded. Oh, he nodded. What? Aren't you afraid? Me? I'm not afraid. You? Yeah, a little, I answered. To be honest, I'm terrified, he confessed, but I can't let that stop me now. There it is. There's that honesty from the good boy Kite. All my homies love Kite. At least we both feel the same way. He was right. Until Fumikazu woke up, I couldn't run away. Kite's simple confession warmed my heart. I wasn't alone. Maybe like the tennis match, if I kept trying, there would come a day when I was rewarded. I just had to stay strong. I looked at Kite and wondered if I could tell him about my brother and how guilty I felt for choosing the words that ultimately put him in a coma. If I told him, maybe that would help shift some of the heavy weight he was carrying off his shoulders. Maybe he wouldn't keep trying to do everything by himself. But what would he think of me, a girl who caused her own brother to get hurt? Ah! Kite suddenly yelled. What? I jumped back. Sorry, a data rift opened in the wall. It startled the hell out of me. I thought it was a data bug. Don't ever scare me like that again, I laughed nervously. It's not funny, don't you dare laugh at me. Excuse me, I said, but weren't you the one laughing at me when that goblin freaked me out at the church in Hidden Forbidden Holy Ground? Well, yeah, but that was different. How so? I asked. That was funny. You mean it was funny because it happened to me? I mean, come on, it was just a stupid goblin. He shrugged. At least it was a creature. You screamed like a little girl over a few strings of computer code. Okay, you got me. Why don't you go on and really laugh it up? But then Kite turned to me, completely serious. I want to ask you something, he said carefully, choosing his words. Now what? I'm here to help Orca, but why are you here? Uh-oh. Just what I'd been thinking about. Oh, it's ad time. What a weird time for an ad break. Hello again, VOD watchers. I hope you're enjoying this. As I read through this, I am remembering the different cutscenes and areas that they go into in the game. And I honestly think it's a cooler idea to read this book first and then watch me play the games, or play the games yourself if you can get a PlayStation 2 emulator running. Because reading about this and then seeing it for yourself, it makes your brain do that connection thing where you're like, oh, it's the thing from the book, or it's the thing from the game. And it's such a nice feeling. It's a great feeling. I thought I was going somewhere else with that, but apparently not. 1 minute 57 seconds. Goddamn. I think we are about halfway through my playthrough of Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. I think about two to three more streams we should be good on finishing it. And then we will start and finish Zone of the Enders, and that will be the end of my PlayStation 2 library. At least the shorter games. The longer games I will get to later. Specifically the RPGs that are too long to do in a big old thing. I may have, like I said, I may take an entire year to do nothing but RPGs. That'd be fucking awesome. I wonder how many I'd get done. Maybe every other year I could do a JRPG year. Who knows? That might be a cool thing. Depends on what's happening. Los Angeles is what's happening. Sorry. I really like Jurassic 5. Oh, yeah, because I've never actually beaten Digital Devil Saga before. I've been told, I got stuck because it gets really fucking hard. Oh my god. I may not ever actually be able to beat it. I'm still stuck on fucking Shin Megami Tensei 5. Like, oh, it's like everything is too high of a level, even on the easier, even on like casual mode, which sucks ass. It's not the casual mode that sucks ass, it's the fact that even on the supposed easy mode, everything is too high a level. Which I've been consistently getting into battles and leveling up, but they give you such little EXP. And it's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do other than slowly and agonizingly just grind. And that's, oh, I know I have to do it one day, but There won't be anything. There won't be a day anytime soon. 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam. Whoosh. There it is. Alright. And we're back. Let's see. Why? Oh yeah, I know. Okay, now what? I'm here to help Orca, but why are you here? Just what I'd been thinking about. I'd thought about telling him earlier, but never found the right moment. Now that I had the chance, the words escaped me. Before I could answer, I heard footsteps behind us. I jumped behind Kite. From around the corner marched a familiar tall knight in silver and blue armor. I took in those beautiful wings, whose defensive purpose was unfathomable to me. But I wasn't complaining. Balmung, why'd he show up just as I was about to tell Kite about my brother, she thought to herself. You again, he yelled. Let's go over to Balmung. He yelled. I come here to discover the cause of yesterday's meltdown and find you. Explain. Why is he always yelling? I wondered to herself. I already told you the other day, Kite replied flatly. You did? I said. Then I turned to Balmung. Well, if he did, then you already know why we're here. So what's the problem? Balmung looked at me. I understand, but you need to face the facts. Whenever you two are involved, everything takes a turn for the worse. Am I wrong? Yes, he's very wrong. Before we could answer, he turned and walked away. I watched as he disappeared into the darkness of the dungeon. Man, I hate him, I said after he left. But I was troubled. I couldn't stop looking after him. Why did he come here? How did he know that this was the place, she thought to herself. Maybe he's just got his own reason for what he's doing, and it's different from ours, Kite muttered to himself. But what other reason could there be? He's being real fucking weird. Maybe Balmung knew what it was that Orca had been trying to investigate in the first place. Actually, that was the natural conclusion. Perhaps if our paths crossed again on better terms, we could compare what we discovered and start working together. But I could not imagine what could make him stalk off like that. He misses his friend. What's really funny, there's like a pseudo sequel to this that takes place before Dot Hack GU called Dot Hack Legend of the Twilight. And in that, it's an anime and a manga, and it's very short, but it's really good. In that, Balmung is like this super chill guy. He is like the fucking chillest ever. Like it is night and day, his character, and it's honestly really fucking funny. I may actually do a digital read along of the Legend of Twilight manga because it's really cute and really funny. Anyway, time passes. Kite and I returned to town. We had explored every inch of the dungeon except for the final room. Just as we'd reached the last doorway, a set of iron bars had slammed down. We couldn't get past them. We were about to part ways when an NPC resembling a merchant, just like the one I'd seen before, approached Kite. He's back. Come on. It's your boys / boy. Oh. If I knew I could get away with it, I would absolutely watch this on stream. I've been told that it's safe to watch older shows on something called, oh, what the fuck was it called? It's like a lesser-known streaming site. I don't remember. But yeah, I would love to do a watch-along of that. Of Dot Hack Sign. Just experience the whole fucking series. It's one of my favorite EDM instruments. Alright. I had an uneasy feeling. NPCs didn't normally engage players. It was usually the other way around. Greetings, you were previously chosen for the power-up campaign, the merchant exclaimed. We understand that you have had the misfortune of receiving an item that was incompatible with the world. Please accept this powerful item, the Book of Absolute. In exchange, please take it with our compliments. Kite shrugged and fished out another book, which he exchanged, and the merchant vanished into the crowd. I watched as he tried to look in the book, but then put it in his inventory when it wouldn't open. It doesn't do anything at all, same as the last book, he said. I don't get it, Black Rose. You ever hear any mention of a power-up campaign on the BBS? I shook my head. Nothing. We've been members about the same amount of time, right? I've been paying attention to the BBS and all of CC Corp's official notices. If they'd announced any campaign by that name recently, we should have heard about it. It was very suspicious. More time passes. A message. A message from someone named Natsume. There's an area I heard about that I really want to explore. Would you like to come with me? Huh? I guess she's getting attached to me. Natsume's invitation email arrived. Oh, that's right, the green-haired twin blade. Did I save her image? I did not. Okay. That's okay! Natsume. I forgot Natsume showed up in GU. Oh, I misspelled it already. That's weird. I forgot she showed up in GU. If I ever get around to playing it, I'll probably buy the PS4 remaster. Because, like I said, the game itself was fun. Come on. There it is. Yes, that is Natsume.
Ilabop.
I don't know why it loaded like that. Shine bright in the morning light. There we go. Alright. Huh, I guess she was getting attached to me. Natsume's invitation email arrived shortly after I bid Kite farewell. Deciding I might as well go along, I waited for her at the Delta server Chaos Gate. Black Rose, Natsume rushed over. It's been a while, I said. Yeah, it has. I've been fighting and raising my level, Natsume continued. So where did you want to go? I asked. Hideous Someone's Giant. What's that? There's an event monster there. Someone I know told me about it. Are they joining us? I wondered. Yes. Who is it? Sanjuro. Natsume's gaze shifted behind me. Sanjuro, over here. Sanjuro was dressed as a samurai warrior. He also wore an eye patch. He was also voiced by fucking Steve Bloom. God damn it. Sanjuro. Go, please. I beg you. I beg you. There he is. Steve Bloom, everybody. I love that, like, Steve Bloom used to be, like, so famous, and now, well, in the 90s he was, but in the early 2000s he started just getting, like, super obscure bit parts for characters, just as, like, a cameo, I guess. I don't know. It's still funny. Okay. Sorry. Let me try to do a Steve Bloom impersonation. Sorry, am I late? That's too deep. No, I just got here. Who's this girl? He pointed at me. Rude. Groovy. This is Black Rose. She'll be accompanying us today. He waved. Nice to meet you. My name is Steve Bloom. My name is Sanjuro Sunaarashi. I bowed. It's nice to meet you too. So you're a heavy blade as well. Yep, that's definitely the best. Yep, that's definitely the best way to go. He tapped his katana. Of course, he uses a fucking odachi. The three of us formed a party. We had a twin blade and two heavy blades. Only who will help us with health recovery, she thought to herself. Looking at our character statuses, everyone had about the same skill set. It wasn't encouraging. You mind if I get ready first? I asked. I rushed to an apothecary shop and sold off every last bit of unnecessary equipment I had acquired while adventuring solo, and then stocked up on recovery potions, including antidotes to counteract poison. That's it. Antidote restores half of the status effects, and then restoratives recover the other half of status ailments. That would end curses, resurrects for reviving dead characters, and anything else I could think of, hoping it would be enough. When I returned, we warped to Hideous Someone's Giant. We emerged on the platform of an airship that glided above the clouds. Several such airships hovered around a massive rotating giant that was suspended in midair. It comes back, baby! Hideous Someone's Giant. There it is. I recognized it instantly. Kite and I had seen it from below. At the time, I worried that we might have to fight it, but it now looked less like an enemy and more like part of the scenery. This is amazing. What a view," said Natsume. Sanjuro jumped from ship to ship, making his way toward the center of the fleet. Natsume and I followed after him. The giant turned out to be a human-shaped ship with its entrance in the mouth. Since there weren't many magic portals to slow us down, we quickly proceeded through organ-shaped passageways and chambers to what must have been the core of the ship. It resembled a boiler room, and in the center stood a single portal. Oh, that's right. This is the optional boss at the end of the first game. And in the game itself, I think you actually do this as Kite with Black Rose and Mistral, or whoever you want to take with you. This was a book only thing for some reason. There are a few inconsistencies among the games in the book, but for the most part, they're identical. Like I said, aside from this little bit right here. A single portal. I wonder if the boss is inside? Natsume mused. Probably. I used a strength potion. Shall we? Sanjuro ran toward the magic portal. Isn't it a bad idea to jump in without a plan? I'm going too, said Natsume, then jumped after him, her spiral-edged blades at the ready. But right before they plunged through the portal, a large purple dragon with 8 wings on its back emerged from it, instantly striking Natsume and reducing her hit points to almost nothing. At first, I feared it might be a data bug, but it seemed like a regular computer-generated creature, except this, quote, parasite dragon had 9,999 hit points. I prepared myself for a long, drawn-out battle, like Mistral did when we fought Skaith. I moved to the back so I could devote myself to recovery. Sanjuro quickly attacked, but the creature's hit points dropped barely a fraction. All we can do is wear it down, I warned. This wouldn't be easy. I moved forward to attack, but kept a close eye on everyone's health meter. Black Rose, Sanjuro called. Do you think we can finish it off? We won't win unless we do. Right, let's go frenzy against it, he said as he launched into a series of attacks. I used a talisman for magical attack, but it didn't do a thing. I had no idea that monsters were this strong. The fight continued for a long time, and just when it seemed like our recovery items would bottom out, Natsume shouted, "Everyone use an attack skill at once." We each called out a specialized skill. Gale of Winds. No, Gale of Swords, cried Natsume. Ray Rack. shouted Sanjuro. Calamity, I yelled. The parasite dragon's health meter suddenly dropped. One more hit should do it, I yelled, striking the final blow. The dragon staggered and died. We won, Sanjuro exclaimed, proudly. Thank you so much for helping me, said Natsume. I realized that this was what the game was truly about. Teamwork and cooperation to overcome huge obstacles. I was beginning to understand the appeal. I'd quite enjoyed myself, and I had really needed the respite. This was a welcome distraction from my constant sense that there was something gnawing away at the foundation of the world, even though there is. Time passes. Again today, Fumikazu's medical equipment whirred unceasingly, quietly regulating everything. Apparently, from time to time, his heart rate would jump up, but I'd never been there to see it. A nurse had speculated to my mom that maybe he was running somewhere in a dream. Running in a dream. Anyway, whatever was happening to him, I stopped. Oh, I hoped he wasn't in pain. As I sat at my brother's bedside, I told him about our progress, or lack thereof. I told him about the strange room and our encounters with Aura and Skaith. Fumikazu, what should I do? Until that morning, we were at a dead end. Aura had vanished, and when we'd returned to that final room to find a clue, bars had locked our entry. We had no leads. Then I'd gotten a suspicious email. To Black Rose from Anonymous. Subject, offering information. I might have a hint on how to revive those who have fallen into comas. If you are interested, please come to Theta Soaring Sky Bounded Abyss. Oh, Soaring Sky Bounded Abyss. I will be waiting. I'd never posted anything on the BBS, so no one had my address other than the people I'd already met. And those who did know me in the world didn't know about Fumikazu. So how does the sender know I'm interested in information about people in comas? Thinking about the strange email, I squeezed Fumikazu's hand. I could barely feel his body temperature. I'll find a way for you soon, I whispered in his ear. I promise. Soaring, wait, which server was that in? Theta, okay, still the same server. Soaring Sky Bounded Abyss on Theta server was empty. There was no background, no landscape, nothing. It was an eternal wasteland of white, empty space. Just like the strange rooms we had visited before. I tried contacting Kite, but since I couldn't reach him, I came alone. After walking around and calling out for a bit, I just stood and waited. What the hell is this place? Is this really Soaring Sky Bounded Abyss? Or have I been warped someplace else, like when Mia lured me into a different field? I suddenly felt uncomfortably alone and vulnerable, and I wanted to return to town as soon as humanly possible. Out of nowhere, Kite warped in front of me. Hey, I called. What are you doing here? Kite turned around in surprise. Did you get an email too? I asked. Yeah. I felt uneasy. Hold on a sec. I wanted to find out if this was some kind of setup. I opened the menu and selected Gate Out. Rings of light coiled around me, but I didn't go anywhere. I tried again. Nothing. I can't gate out. I guess we're stuck here. Suddenly a high-pitched whine rang out from all around us. It was the same sound we'd heard when Skaith had appeared. I nervously looked around, sword at the ready. Bright lines shot through the air and converged on a single point, forming a cube. Stepping out of the cube was the merchant we'd seen before. Where are you? Several more cubes appeared around him, and merchant duplicates of all different colors stepped out as well, all tilted at different orientations, floating above our heads. Hello, gentlemen, ladies, uranium-containing drink bottles. Hello, Koi. I'm about to finish the book for the stream. So you're coming in very late. I'll give a recap next time, though. Welcome. I am Leos, announced the first avatar. I am a system administrator of the world. You have ignored our warnings, said another. You have gone too far, said a third. Warnings? What warnings? Then I remembered each of the times I saw the merchant appear. Once it had spoken to Kite directly, trying to get his bracelet. Oh, once it had. You're reading a book. I am reading a book on stream. I started it 2 weeks ago. If you want to catch that VOD, I did upload it to my YouTube channel. Bam. Trying to get his bracelet. One of the avatars drifted lower and touched down in front of us. If the two of you hadn't interfered, the situation would not have deteriorated. He must have been referring to the fact that we'd knocked down the server when we took out Skaith. VODs are for weak people? No, they're for everybody, Coy. Us? What about you? Kite lashed out. Not only did you not do anything about the coma victims, but you also tried to cover it up. Viruses spread by hackers caused the problem. Leos answered with contempt. If you want to blame someone, blame them. How will blaming hackers bring back my friend? I couldn't believe that the people in charge were taking this so lightly. How can they be so irresponsible? Because they're part of a corporation. Fumikazu's still in the hospital. The tears I'd been fighting back spilled over my cheeks, blurring my view. Bring him back to normal. Bring him back, I shouted, my voice shaking. Don't just sit there doing nothing. My tears wouldn't stop. We are currently investigating the relationship between the world and those who fell comatose, Leo said dryly. We are not taking this idly, I assure you. We're actively working on strong countermeasures. Black Rose... Oh, no, sorry. We're working on strong countermeasures. Black Rose. Kite walked over to me, a look of compassion in his eyes. But there is one other thing. Hear you until I... Okay, dudes. Thanks for coming by. But there is one more thing. There was one other thing, Leos continued, looking at Kite. Preventing any further deterioration requires you to delete your character. Delete it? Why? Asked Kite, incredulous. Your character violates the software users agreement. You have installed an illegal effect. You do know what I'm referring to. Kite was silent. Leos must have been referring to the data drain. I will now delete you, Leos announced, but before he could do anything, a woman's voice cried out. Oh yeah, girl. One of the best fucking characters. Aww. We get a lovely sketch drawing of Akira in real life just crying. Oh. And she has a fucking snaggletooth in real life. It's very funny. Wait. The space next to Kite distorted and a female avatar appeared. Now we meet another great fucking character whose name is... Helba. We love her. All my homies love Helba. She's fucking great. Love her. Her hat's a little goofy, but still. Oh yeah, wait. The space next to Kite distorted and a female avatar appeared. Helba! Leos cried out. Leos, are you insane or just stupid? Helba commented. What? Leos sputtered. How dare you? It has a question mark and an exclamation point, so it's, how dare you? Don't act so indignant with me, especially when you're not in control. What do you mean, Helba? I wonder what would happen right now if the boy performed a data drain on you, Helba said. Leos gasped. No way, I wouldn't do that, said Kite. I know, because you're not stupid, unlike some people. I know. She turned to Leos. You don't even understand how it works, yet you're willing to delete it before finding anything out? She paused for a moment, then smirked. Or do you even really possess the ability to delete it in the first place? Maybe you want it for yourself. Silence. The boy's character data has been so well protected that even you system administrators cannot rewrite it, Helba said. Even when you created a vaccine in the form of a rare item and tried to get him to use it. Don't you understand what he's involved in could be the only hope we have of stopping the chaos? Deleting something just because you can't understand or control it is something only an ignoramus would do. Kite interrupted. Can I say something? All eyes turned to Kite. I really don't care what happens to my character data. Does he know what he's saying? He'll be erased, Black Rose thought to herself. Like I've said before, Kite continued, I simply want to help my friend, and that's all I want to do. But I don't know how. Helba, and you, System Administrator, what do you think I should do? He says in the middle of a fucking argument. Helba sighed. I'm sorry, my friend, but I don't know the answer to your question, she said softly, then laughed. And I'm positive this ignoramus doesn't either. I can only give you a recommendation. I'm sure you've heard that the earliest version of the world was called the Fragment. There's a rumor that the Fragment's design was inspired by the Emma Wieland poem Epitaph of Twilight. Perhaps it could provide some insight. Didn't the programmer who made the Fragment disappear? What is Helba asking us to do? Black Rose thought to herself. Also, this is Helba's in-game model, which is just as fucking cool. She's... them puppies is barely contained in there. Anyway. Oh yeah. This sketch right here is actually how she appears in the book. I just saw it. Leo snorted. That's a dead end. Leos, Helba's voice was kind, as if she were patiently explaining to a child. Leos is the code name assigned by the system to you as a system administrator. Were you even remotely aware that it refers to a Pyron, the King of Light, mentioned in the epitaph? It does? Helba laughed. Deleting characters is... Oh, Helba laughed. Deleting characters is not the only way to do your job. Instead of trying to hide everything in darkness, why don't you observe these two for a while longer and see what they might shed light on? I won't take orders from you, Leos bellowed. Orders? I'm merely offering a suggestion. After all, if the problem escalates, won't you be held responsible? Right now, it's still isolated, but the net is a very large place. I can't imagine how bad it would be for you if it were to spread, but that's your decision. Fucking love how sassy Helba is. She's fucking great. Leo sighed. I need to think about this. Yes, try thinking for a change. Got him. Helba laughed again. Who knows? You may find it suits you. You'll be hearing from me later, Leo snapped. He and all the other merchants floating in the sky above us suddenly vanished. Well, I guess that wraps things up for now, my children, Helba said, smiling. I'm sure we'll meet again. Unlike her sudden arrival, Helba gated out the same way normal characters did. Kite and I stood dumbfounded. Do you know what just happened? Kite asked me. I was hoping you would be able to explain it to me, I replied. At least we now had another clue. We had to search for the Epitaph of Twilight. But why had Helba told us about it? Who is she? Who is she? In the silence that followed, Kite just looked at me. Suddenly, I felt very awkward. About the thing earlier, I began in the heat of the confrontation with Leos. I blurted out that someone close to me was in a coma. I thought now's the time to explain it all to Kite, but then all my old doubts came tumbling back. No, forget it, I said, shaking my head. Well, so long for today. I've got to calm down. I can always tell him everything another time, she thought to herself. Time passes. The following day, I received an email from Leos. Quote, I will consent to your actions on one condition. From now on, you will follow my directions. You can continue your quest, but you will work for me. Suddenly, a whole new horizon unfolded to my mind's eye. I would no longer be playing the world just as a user. I would have access to volumes of information on the system's side. It would be easier to figure out what was going on now that we would no longer be in the dark. All thanks to our meeting with Leos and Helba. It wasn't long afterward that I realized how symbolic that meeting had been. After I finally read the Epitaph of Twilight, I hated to admit it, but I felt a pang of worry. I wondered what it meant that the King of Light had tried to destroy us, but that we were saved by Helba, Queen of the Dark. Queen of the Dark. All right. And that is it for this. Oh, yeah. To be continued in Volume 2, baby. Alrighty. Oh, that was fun as hell. 2 streams is all it took to finish that book. I'm so happy that I managed to do that in 2 streams. And in under 3 hours. We love to see it. Oof. I'll tell you what's not having a good time. My fucking bowels. I don't know what's wrong with it. My stomach is doing the rumblies. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching, VOD watchers. Bye-bye, VOD watchers.